Hey, Roger Martin here from Billings, Montana. Good day, and this is wonderful, wonderful. X-22 report, I love it. Anyhow, the judge now wants 5 years of Hunter Biden's records for taxes. Wow, 5 years. Gonna be a knocker-outer. Woo!
Now, of course, this is going to be sealed from the public. And you know that these things just so happen to get leaked out every once in a while. And I do believe that we're going to start to see information on Hunter Biden's taxes and income. And then people are going to start to put this together. And
he says something else here with resignations on CEOs.
On record. Think about that for a second. Even through the financial crisis, this year, we're seeing more departures than ever before. Let's go back to post 922. This is March 10th, 2018. Keep the resignation list updated. Important. Post 413, December 21st, 2017. Track CEO resignations. This is something that we've never seen before. Why? I think we know why. And we're also seeing more and more government employees resign, or they decided they're not going to go and get reelected. They're not seeking reelection. Tom Graves tweeted out the following. Today I announced to my friends and fellow Georgians that I will not be seeking reelection to the U.S. House of Representatives in 2020. Serving the country I love so much and representing the community I hold so dear is an honor that won't be replicated. So we're going to start to see a lot more of these government employees say, you know something, I'm not going to seek re-election, or I'm just resigning. Now, a lot of these individuals who are corrupt, they're hanging on because they do believe that the impeachment is going to work. And we know that it is not. Now, the deep state, they now know they're getting nowhere with these impeachment hearings. The people are not behind it. So they needed to speed things up because if they continued, it was not going to go the way they thought it was going to go. We'll talk about that a little bit later with.
All right. What about Nunes and his lawsuit?
They have the evidence. They have the facts. So they're trying to discredit them any way they possibly can. And of course, CNN is out there and they're putting out a story that Devin Nunes met certain Ukrainian individuals in Vienna, and this story is completely false. CNN's source for this story was Joseph Bondy, the lawyer for the Russian-born American Lev Parnas, the latter of whom is currently under indictment for federal election crimes. In addition to telling CNN that Parnas was told directly by the former Ukrainian official that he met last year in Vienna with Representative Devin Nunes, Bondy also told CNN that Parnas and Nunes began communicating around the time of the Vienna trip. Parnas says he worked to put Nunes in touch with Ukrainians who could help Nunes dig up dirt on Biden and Democrats in Ukraine. And this is not so. According to Nunes and his lawsuit, he never communicated with Parnas in December of 2018 at the time of the Vienna trip. That also never happened. Now, the press nonetheless portrayed the phone log as a smoking gun proving Nunes was complicit of something. However, the real complicity lies between the press, Democrats on the Hill. Had CNN not run the fake story in late November, tying Nunes to Giuliani, Parnas in Ukraine, and invented a plot between the group to dig up dirt on Biden, the telephone contacts would mean nothing. So why do you think they put this story out there? They put this story out there so they can try to tie things together, to make it look like this all happened. And after all, the calls all occurred in mid-April, before Ukrainians elected Zelensky president on April 21st, 2019, and months before Trump supposedly threatened to withhold aid to the country, which he never did. Nunes agrees that CNN false Vienna story set the stage for shifts.
5G is ready to roll.
Is a constant symbiosis between the Democrats, particularly Schiff and the mainstream media. They're always on the same page, working toward the same goal. And what is that goal? It is impeachment. And we know that Schiff, he plays dirty, and that's exactly what he's doing. So Representative Nunes, what is he doing? He's going to use all legal options to go after Schiff. And we'll have to see how that turns out. Now, this is very interesting. Representative Adam Schiff from California reported earlier this week that he had obtained the phone records of Trump's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani. The date of the phone records shows as September 30th. This also happens to be the Monday after the weekend that A.G. Barr and his U.S. Attorney Durham went to Rome. What was Schiff after? Why was he trying to get this information? He was trying to figure out what was going on out there, and he was hoping to get some information from this, which I do believe he got absolutely nothing. Now, we know that the deep state, the Dems, they've been pushing the impeachment process since Trump got into office. And I do believe the plan revolves around this impeachment going to the Senate. The Senate was the key.
And we'll see if it gets to the Senate. I still believe that Trey Gowdy is right. This thing is not over impeachment. I think they know it will fail. But this whole ploy is over gaining seats back in the Senate and neutering the president. See the video I showed on neutering the president with a quote from Trey Gowdy and Fox News. Hannity on Fox News. This quote from Trump. Travel in the Senate so far so that our country can get back to business. We will have Schiff, Biden, and Pelosi and many more testify and will reveal for the first time how corrupt our system really is. I was elected to clean the swamp, and that's what I am doing, quote unquote, from President Trump. Does Pelosi hate the president? You bet she does.
I don't hate anybody.
Representative Collins, the reason I asked.
You don't hate anybody, not anybody in the world. So don't accuse me.
I did not accuse you.
You did.
I asked a question.
You did. And
Representative Collins yesterday suggested that the Democrats are doing this simply because they don't like the
I
guy.
had nothing to do with it. Nothing to say with it.
I think it's an important
I
point.
think the president is a...
It is now getting to them. You can see how the panic is setting in, because when you're panicked and you feel fearful of something, that something's going to happen, you start to lash out at people. And we're not just seeing it from Nancy Pelosi, we're also seeing it from Joe Biden. And we're going to see it from many others very, very soon. Trump tweeted out the following. Nancy Pelosi just had a nervous fit. She hates that we will soon have 182 great new judges and so much more. Stock market, employment records. She says she prays for the president. I don't believe her. Not even close. Help the homeless in your district, Nancy, USMCA. Now, as of today, I know Trump says we're going to have 182 great new judges, but right now we've hit 170 judges appointed by Trump and confirmed. We're getting very, very close. Why do we need these judges? We need them.
All right, you know the judges come. They know the elections are coming. We know that these trials are coming. These judges are needed to get the trials done. Let's move on. Now, this information that the drafts that they're doing for impeachment could harm future presidents. This draft needs to be destroyed so it's not done again in such an abusive manner.
And Trump warns Pelosi that the impeachment articles that are being drafted, it's going to set a precedent that could be used to damage future presidencies. He tweeted out the following. The do-nothing radical left Democrats have just announced that they are going to seek to impeach me over nothing. They already gave up the ridiculous Mueller stuff, so now they hang their hats on two totally appropriate, perfect phone calls with Ukrainian president. This will mean that the beyond important and seldom used act of impeachment will be used routinely to attack future presidents. That is not what our founders had in mind. The good thing is that the Republicans have never been more united. We will win. And I just want to point something out in this tweet where he says, so now they hang their hats. So now they hang. Think about what he's saying here. Now, most likely,
And so now they hang. I hope they do get hung in the trials. I hope federal executions are done again, and they're executed for treason, which they are. Treasonous dogs. George Papadopoulos says, A.G. Barr had an official trip to Italy the past 2 days, explained months ago. Fox News in my book, Misfit, was an Italian operative handled by the CIA. It holds the keys to the kingdom. Right government, right time.
Italy holds the keys to the kingdom. Right government, right time. So is Mifsud MI6? He's an Italian operative. He also, I believe, is working with the UK. And they're spending all this time to convince the people that he wasn't CIA. No, the CIA was using him. And look, Mifsud, he's not even Russian. Had nothing to do with Russia. Now, as we know, Trump has been meeting with different leaders in London at the NATO summit. The fake news is trying to make it seem like nothing was done. He left early, but once again, this isn't true. Trump tweeted out the following. The fake news media is doing everything possible to belittle my very successful trip to London for NATO. I got along great with the NATO leaders, even getting them to pay $130 billion a year more and $400 billion a year more in 3 years. No increase for U.S., only deep respect. And this was Trump's plan. He was there to get other countries to ante up, and the U.S. wasn't going to pay the entire fee. And what he's been doing has been working. Now, we hear stories from the mainstream media, and they say Trump is preparing troops getting ready to go to war in the Middle East with Iran, or you hear threats from other countries like North Korea. This is the deep state, the central bank, the mainstream media, trying to push the agenda that they want.
Our media is so treasonous it makes me sick. These are just prime examples of their lies and their treason and their abuses because of how the CIA controls and manipulates them, or their central bank does. Either way, they suck. So many crimes for these politicians, for the corporation leaders, for this media, for the central banks, for the CIA.
Route to exposing lies and crimes. The Senate trial will be televised for everyone to see. Everyone will have a front row seat. The evidence of their crimes will be presented. The evidence of crimes against humanity will be presented. Explaining how these players actually committed these crimes will be explained in front of the entire country. How else do you show the country what these people have done, what crimes they have committed? Yes, Trump could have tweeted it out. Would that have the same effect? No. But once again, if we go back to the example of this farmer who was speaking to Biden at one of his tiny little rallies, he's been educated. The country will start to understand, and I believe this is where crimes against humanity comes in, because everyone will be able to get on board with that, no matter Republican, Democrat, Independent, doesn't matter what you are. This will unite the country. This is when we become one voice. And I believe this is where we're headed. Now, through this process, like I said, I don't think we're going to see thousands upon thousands arrested. I know a lot of people want to see this. Remember, there are different levels and different strategies that they're using to drain the swamp. And Julian's Rum, he tweeted this out today. Because of collateral damage, if 70% of U.S. politicians went to jail, then America's image and everything it stands for would be permanently destroyed. It's not fair at all, but it's necessary for our future. Our children would otherwise inherit rubble. Then Julian Drum tweeted out the following: please, for the love of God, read this old Q drop. Now, this is January 22nd, 2018. Every FBI Department of Justice previous case could be challenged. Lawless. Think logically. And I agree with him. I don't believe we're going to see a mass roundup. Let me continue in this post. 60% must remain private, at least for humanity. I believe we're going to see the main players. The rest, there's going to be different strategies to remove them. We're already seeing it being done. Look at the CEOs. Look at the amount of people that have been fired from the FBI. I believe the CIA is next. Look how many ambassadors have been fired or decided to leave. I believe there's going to be a lot more. Think about when Trump wins the 2020 election. Do you think all these people are going to stick around? No. Most of these people are going to say, I'm out. Jeff Sessions tweeted out the following: the conclusion of the Democratic majority in the House is predetermined and does not rely on or have any connection to evidence. In other words, everything you see right now in Washington related to impeachment is merely a show. Jeff Sessions just let everyone know that this is a show.
Well, we're going to end it there. I'm going to go back. Jeff may have been a greater player than we know and understand. I don't think he's been given true credit. I think a lot of people thought that he was a Ponzi or soft or just a patsy. But we could be really wrong in our judgment with him. I will repeat this again. The conclusion of the Democratic majority in the House is predetermined and does not rely on or have any connection to evidence. In other words, everything you see right now in Washington is related to impeachment is merely a show. Jeff Sessions, quote unquote, on Twitter.